Why did the Vietnamese liberate Cambodia from the hands of Pol Pot? What were their interests? Pol Pot was this mad, insane person who killed, I don't know how many, 1 to 2 to 3 million of his own country people, completely innocent people. My goodness, as a kid, I had the misfortune of seeing. I was sitting as a kid, like a 7-year-old or 8-year-old kid in a barber shop, waiting for snip, snip, snip. And when you sit in a barber shop, it was in Europe. So I'm sitting in this barber shop waiting for the barber to call me. And in a barber shop, you have a bunch of magazines, right? All kinds of magazines. So I open one magazine and this coverage of Vietnam. Oh, sorry, Cambodia. The images, my goodness, they're seared in my memory. Horrible, horrible. No kid should have to see that. So this guy was a monster, brutal monster, Pol Pot. He was the leader of the Khmer Rouge, the Red Khmers. The Khmers were this Shravite kingdom which ruled over Cambodia. So they were the Red Khmers, the communist Khmers, and they tried to destroy their country's uh, cultural and civilizational heritage. They destroyed temples, Hindu temples, Buddhist temples. They killed monks. They all kinds of things, and obviously they forced millions of people into um, into agricultural slavery, and I don't know how many millions died, 2-3 million. So that was the situation. Now let's go to the map, okay? And it's not far away from India. It's right here, Suvarnabhumi, east of Suvarnabhumi, Cambodia, Vietnam. So Cambodia it's in the 70s. This is happening, okay? 75, 76, around that time. Horrible time for Cambodia. Unimaginable horrors were perpetrated there. And the Khmer Rouge were this. So Khmer Rouge, who supported the Khmer Rouge? It was the Chinese that supported the Khmer Rouge. And who supported Vietnam, another communist nation? The Soviets. So Vietnam was allied with the USSR and Cambodia was allied with China. In the 70s was the time which comes after the Sino-Soviet split. So China and the USSR are no longer friends. They're kind of enemies. And the Khmer Rouge were doing this cross-border incursions into Vietnam and attacking Vietnamese villages and civilians. And they killed thousands and thousands of Vietnamese civilians. And eventually Vietnam said enough is enough. And I think it is in 78, if I'm not mistaken, 1978. The Vietnamese, first of all, they sent fighter planes across the border to strafe Khmer Rouge positions. And then they sent the Vietnamese army and very rapidly overran Khmer Rouge positions in various parts of Cambodia and liberated Cambodia. It was a liberation sent from the gods for the people of Cambodia. My God, it ended the reign of terror, the horror of Khmer Rouge rule. So the Vietnamese liberated Cambodia first of all because of the Khmer Rouge's repeated, constant cross-border activity. They did not respect the international border. They did not respect the sovereignty of Vietnam, and they were continually doing these cross-border incursions and encroaching on Vietnamese territory. And it was being done allegedly at the behest of China. So the Vietnamese then also knew that the Khmer Rouge were perpetrating all these horrific atrocities in Cambodia. So that gave them the moral high ground to launch this invasion, which they characterized as a liberation of Cambodia. So that's why the Vietnamese liberated Cambodia from the hands of Pol Pot. I think it was in 78 or something that this happened, 1978. And next year, I think February 79, the Chinese invaded Vietnam to punish the Vietnamese. So the Chinese invaded Vietnam from the north, from various positions in the north. So Vietnam and China have this border north of Hanoi. So the Chinese People's Liberation Army invades Vietnam. Very surprise invasion, nobody expected. And they've rapidly make great progress. And then the Vietnamese armed forces come into the picture. And in a couple of months, the Chinese People's Liberation Army is driven out and defeated. So that was the last actual war that China was involved in. It was a humiliating defeat at the hands of Vietnam.